following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
It had a bad hop.
We are back. Lenny Randle's Hot Corner. We had a bad hop, but Lenny is here, and he's got a terrific guest who was here last week, and we shortchanged him. Kurt Bevacqua is here with Lenny. Hey, guys.
Hello, guys. How you doing?
All right.
Kurt is amazing, Ralph. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I was just going to say, last week you were on. We had 2 or 3 guys at the same time. You were shortchanged, and you said off the air, you just sat back and listened and enjoyed, and it's really nice of you. You have a good disposition. Nice to meet you, sir.
Hey, when you call Lenny, you never know what the hell you're getting into. I call in the middle of a broadcast, and he answers the phone. I mean, what's going on with that? That's never happened before.
Tyko School of Production, on the fly, with a shoestring. Any way we can do it, we do it. And Lenny's terrific.
It was a pinch hitter waiting on deck.
It was all good. I was ready to go. I just didn't want to screw up, so I just sat back and listened.
You couldn't have screwed up at all. I'm going to start by finding out a little bit about you guys, how you met. What was your first meeting, and how that went down?
Oh boy, Lenny, you know what? You probably remember this more. That you're so distinctive when it comes to your memory. I don't know how you do it.
Let me tell you why. The difference is I can remember Kurt got hit in the head a lot in football and baseball. I ducked. So I can remember a little more. I was a ducker. So here's the deal. I think once in San Diego when I became a Met from Texas Rangers, I think Winfield was in right field, and I pointed to Winnie and told him I was going to hit one over his head. I had just joined the club, had a massive press conference, and all of a sudden I was this guy looking at me and kept looking left, looking right. I'm going, is he getting cane me? In baseball, they cane, that's kind of a word, right, Kurt? Cane. I'm not cane. This guy, what's wrong with this guy? Is he dyslexic? Is he a little retarded? Is he Cane. I'm going, what, man? I'm supposed to be saying, hey, Lenny, or something like, And they told me he was a lot of fun to be with. I'd heard that from Ozzie Smith and Templeton and Raleigh and Gaylord Perry, because they love being with the guy. I can't wait to meet this guy. But I'm not Cane, man. What the hell, Cane?
You were a great pinch hitter. Tell me some of the reasons that you were, and some other guys, good hitters, can't pinch hit. What's the key to that?
I think it's the mental approach, Ralph. I remember earlier in my career, I had no chance going up to the plate and being a pinch hitter when I was sent up there, and it was for the sole purpose of knowing that I was defeated before I went to the plate. But then as I learned how to do it, and I learned the pitchers, and also had a little success. I mean, naturally, it's hard to have confidence when you go up to the plate unless you've had some type of success. So when I started to have a little bit of success, I started to bring that to the plate. I started to learn the pitchers. And when that happened, right around the 77, 78 time frame, things really just kept up on a pretty nice level for me, pinch hitting wise, and extended out throughout the end of my career.
Nice. I'll bet you extended
and now,
4 years that way.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at Cranepool, Lay Lacy, Manny Mota. Those guys play like 15, 20 years because they can get a hit in their sleep.
Right.
There's guys that can fall out of bed and hit. It was, and then you're right. I mean, Tony Gwynn could not pinch hit. And not only that, but he hated it. But I always kidded him, when we were talking about that. I said, Tony, you never have to worry about pinch hitting. You're always in the lineup. And then I used to hear lame ass excuses from managers that, if I start you, you're only hitting in one spot in the lineup. Jerry Coleman actually told me this. Wow. I said, Jerry, I'm hitting 470. and we're in the middle of late May, and I had a few at-bats under my belt, too. I go, you're starting a guy at third, and I don't want to throw out any names. You're starting a guy at third base that's hitting .212. You got another guy at second that's hitting $190. I'm hitting .470, and I'm still pinch hitting for these guys later on in the game. He goes, Kurt, if I start you only hit one place in the lineup. If I've got you on the bench, I can hit you in any one of 9 positions. I go, Jerry, you're killing me.
He was a mathematician. You can't help it. And he became a broadcaster. And he was
the first sabermetrics guy. He was the first analytic and sabermetrics guy.
That's my dream. He was a broadcaster first, and they took him out of the booth and brought him onto the field. So
that's a true story. 1980.
Right now, I'm looking for some little league team that needs a manager.
You're hired. You can do our camp. We'll find you. We'll do our camp. But when we do our camp, we'll make you the manager, and you can do the lineup and juggle it any way you want.
All right.
There you go.
That's a deal. That's a deal. You guys both spent, and this is with respect, you spent time on a major league bench for any length of time. You have my undying respect. What is a typical day on the bench? Just kind of say you two were on the bench right now and the game's going on. What would it be like? Give me a little insight.
I'm doing.
I don't know about Lenny.
Go ahead.
You're exercising?
Yeah, Kurt. I was doing exercises. I was doing my quads. I was doing my push-ups. I was doing those backward tricep pull-ups and push-ups on the bench. I was working on my abs, and I did leg lifts. And I would go up and down the tunnel if there was a tunnel and stretch, because I always felt like I was going to go back in. At the drop of a hat, somebody's going to pull a muscle, get hurt, or whatever, and I'm ready. I want to always be ready, like a fireman. I looked at myself as a fireman, because I usually started every day when I was playing. So when I didn't, I go, this guy didn't want to play. He's got a headache, bad back, and his wife put him out the house. He's got 5 innings in him. So he's got a bail.
Oh, I'm going to take a time out and reach back into last week's conversation. It might have been the week before, and I can't think of who it was. It might have been Papa Jack, who said,
Papa Jack.
We're talking about off-season exercise, coming in prepared, how they do it today. And he said, to you, Lenny, about you, Lenny was the only one who did off-season conditioning in his day. Now, I'm sure you weren't the only one, but that itself had to extend your career. You came into spring training in shape. That had to help.
The thing about, I don't know about you, Kurt, but remember we had winter ball? I went to Puerto Rico, went to Venezuela, went to Dominican, and those guys worked out in the winter. And I was like, great, because I'm a football player, and if I sit on my butt during the winter, I'd go nuts. So I had to go to winter ball, do something, because I couldn't play football anymore because they wouldn't let us play pro football after Arizona State. Remember, Kurt? They wouldn't let the guys do 2 sports.
That's true. Well, you talk about winter ball. I think that is what kept me in the big leagues for quite a few years. I played 10 consecutive years of winter ball.
Phenomenal.
Oh, so from 1970 to 1980, I played winter ball in either Venezuela, the Dominican Republic, or Puerto Rico. And in 1971, I made it to the big leagues.
And that
so I was actually playing winter ball while I was in the big leagues for 9 years. And the sole reason to that, it kept me in shape. It got me ready for spring training, because no sooner than the winter ball season would be over, because most of the time we'd be in some sort of playoff or Caribbean World Series situation with whatever teams that we were with. And the next thing you know, 2 or 3 weeks later, spring training starting. So you're on top of your game. All the rest of these guys, it's not like it is today. all the rest of these guys come into spring training and they're rusty.
Yeah.
They haven't seen any pitching. They haven't seen any live, they haven't had any live hitting. They hadn't thrown. Everybody's got to get their arm in shape. All the pitchers had to get their legs in shape because it just exactly the opposite of the way you did it, Lenny. These guys didn't work out in the wintertime.
It was amazing, Ralph, to see guys like, Ivan Rodriguez and Dave Parker and Dave Concepcion and Aparicio as our manager and Cookie Rojas down there in Venezuela, Caracas with Paul Casanova and going to his clubs and seeing his lifestyle. That was a great thing to go see Roberto Clemente and Doc Ellis on the same team with Renee Latchman and Mitchell Page. I mean, it was a big party to me. I'm going, what's not to like? Kurt, remember the bongos and congos and smoke bombs and all that excitement pregame?
Oh, goodness. I can't even tell.
Don Baylor got hit in the head with a Molotov cocktail, and he still played.
Don Baylor got hit a lot with a baseball.
Oh, my God.
And now he's getting hit by Molotov cocktails. But experiences in Latin American countries, the stories never stop.
No.
They really don't. You talk about Luis Aparicio. Luis Aparicio is a god in Venezuela. And where he's from is a town called Maracaibo. La. And we had a collision at third base one day.
Shortstop factory?
Yeah, he's a human vacuum machine.
Is that the town?
Yeah, I think there's
so many shortstops.
Best ever.
I think if you go to any town in Venezuela, Dominican or to Puerto Rico, you're going to find a shortstop. Those guys can play some baseball down there.
That leads me to my question.
But you're right. There is one town that produced a lot of major league shortstops, and I don't know which one it is.
I don't know. I can't think of which one it was. There was 6 or 7 came out of there. But
yeah, it was Laura.
I'm going to digress a little bit. Up for the Hall of Fame this year is, and you mentioned Latin shortstops, and you mentioned Venezuela. The best fielding shortstop that I think I ever saw after Aparicio's days, when I was a kid, Luis Aparicio was the man at short. We're talking Vizquel. And
Vizquel was phenomenal.
I think he should go into the Hall of Fame. Do you guys agree?
I agree because Ozzy's in there. Ozzy got in. I'm not knocking Ozzy, but, he hit okay, right? And it wasn't about hitting. It was about saving runs. He probably made every guy that had a 4-point ERA from Raleigh to Gaylord, and you can name 20 guys from the Padres and the Cardinals, Andujar. Going up the middle, the guy was awesome. I saw him doing karaoke, like carriettes and poetic throws from behind the bag or behind third before Jeter was doing the jump shot throws. He was just great defensively. So that, if you look at the overall picture of what a guy did to save a club to go to a World Series, or go to a playoff contenders, he's got to be in there. Vizquel's got to be in there. But who's judging? Who didn't see that? Kurt, do you remember Vizquel? I remember him well.
Well, I got an opportunity to see him play, but not enough. And that's one of the reasons that I'm a little disgusted with Hall of Fame voting. I have all the respect in the world for the writers across the United States, but they don't get to see guys as much as they need to make a lifetime decision that they're making with electing guys into the Hall of Fame. If a guy's in the National League East and you're playing teams from a guy in the National League West all the time, you only get to see him for a few games every year. That's not enough to vote a guy or to have the ability to vote a guy into the Hall of Fame. So what I think should happen, there needs to be quite a few changes made to the Hall of Fame vote. But the one thing that really needs to change is that the guys that vote for the guys into the Hall of Fame need to see these guys play more. And if they don't see them play enough, they shouldn't have the right to vote for that Hall of Fame guy. Because they're leaving them off the ballots, and it's just not fair.
Ralph, what we're going to do is start our own Hall of Fame.
This steroid thing with you guys and ask you about Bonds and Clemens and should they be in the Hall? And we can go as far, take it to another level with Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson, for crying out loud. What's your take on that, guys?
You know, I believe people's position on the steroid and PED era is starting to soften. And was it right or was it wrong? Well, at the beginning of the steroid era, the players were using performance-enhancing drugs that were not outlawed from Major League Baseball. So there are some situations where I think that I'm not talking about turning the other cheek at all, but I'm talking about guys that before they made the laws against it, that were using. I think they should be excused from it. You know, if you go down the highway and there's no speed limit, and then all of a sudden you have a speed limit and you slow down, but you're going 90 or 100 miles an hour with the no speed limit deal, and you slow down and you start obeying the laws afterwards, then you're good. You're not going to get any tickets. So it's a difficult situation. It really is. I think people's stance, as well as mine, is starting to soften on the steroid thing, but you can't vote one guy in without voting everybody in. And there are so many guys that are deserving to go in. If you were to look the other way on it, you know, opinions. Everybody has a different opinion on this subject, and it's a tough one.
I got another twist. Mine is very simple because I've done this show before around the country. I've seen every person in America and every person in 31 of the countries do a cappuccino or a latte or espresso or the strongest coffee in Colombia in the morning to get up to go to work. And they're taking something to enhance their job or enhance their minds just so they can take a shower and brush their teeth so they can get in their car. So they're doing a performance. I've seen owners sniff coke. I've seen jockeys from racetracks do coke. I've seen people not do coke. I've seen them do coffee. Coffee is another form of cocaine to me. If you add up, how many milligrams in a cup of coffee, folks? And then you do a Red Bull. And then you do a Monster. Then you do at midday. So people are getting up to go to work and getting up to survive in America. Why? I don't know.
You know, that coffee analogy in Coke is you're the only one that has ever brought that up to me except Robin Williams. I did comedy, and I opened for Robin Williams, and we had a conversation after his sixth cup of coffee before getting up on stage. He was, at that time...
wired. He was wired.
He was incredibly wired, and he equated it to doing a line of coke. He says, can't do that stuff anymore. I just take 6 cups of coffee. It makes me feel the same way.
Ironically, the analogy, name somebody that's not trying to enhance their life by either doing extra vitamins. The GNC business is booming. Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he was doing his weightlifting and then he went to mayor, to governor, to wherever he is now, health conscious, everybody's trying to improve their life. I see the old guys trying to take, who is it, Frank Thomas taking testosterone pills so he can get a boner. I mean, everybody's trying to...
I didn't have privy to that information, Lenny.
Well, look at the commercial. Come on. Kurt, you've seen the commercial, right? The guy's going,
oh, absolutely.
What is he trying to tell the guy? Look, you want to keep your wife, take some of this.
I didn't see the commercial.
You want to lift that 200 pounds, take some of this.
No, the devil's advocate on that steroids is that you're changing the chemical makeup of your body and not just enhancing how you feel. It's not like...
Ralph, you're doing it with fruits and vegetables too. Everybody's trying to live longer, be stronger, some kind of way. If once afraid you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Look, I saw David Eckstein take it. He went from 1 home run to 5. Does that make him a criminal? Come on. It don't help everybody. It doesn't.
So, Ralph, what basically, in answer to your question, I think Lenny's saying that that steroid user should be granted access to the Hall of Fame. I say that, or at least that's what I got from the conversation. And if I'm wrong, correct me.
Yeah.
And I say that the stances are softening. And as much as I was against it, I started thinking about it, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, if this stuff was available to me when I played, would I have used it? And the answer to that question is pretty easy to come up with. I would have absolutely used it. Now, after it was banned, it's harder. You know, you've got to say, am I going to try to, you know, I'm going to go back to the speeding parallel. No, I don't know why I'm using that, but I'm going to go back to it. That's because that's probably the worst thing that I do in life. But if you think you can get away with speeding, you're going to try to do it. If you're in a hurry.
I taught traffic school for a long time, and there's one thing to speed when it's safe, and another thing to speed when it's not safe. If you're leaving room in front of you, you're not tailgating. If the weather is conducive, if the roads are conducive, speeding it's okay to speed. If you're not increasing your danger, it's not okay to speed, but you know what I'm saying. It's when you speed, do you weave in and out of traffic? Do you,
in comparison, think of the guys that have taken it and have failed, about 90% of them. They went from 5 home runs to 10, or they did 220, still a 220 hitter, or a 250, 260. It doesn't make you just Superman. You still got to be able to hit that ball coming 90 or 100 miles an hour. I don't care who you are, what your hand-eye coordination. If you hit 40 home runs, you broke in the first 2 years like Reggie Jackson did, or like Bonds did with, and Canseco did before, you know, 30, 40, 20. I remember George Henry never took it. He went from 20 to 40 or 20 to 39. Nobody questioned it. You know what the big thing is, guys? We started lifting weights. Remember Nautilus? We did Nautilus. We had Steinbrenner send them to our houses in the off season. It was a great thing to train in the winter and get pumped, get jacked, get yoked, get muscles, and look like an NFL player. That's what happened. We got joked. We started lifting weights 24 months out of the year. I saw Fred Lynn go from a Punch and Judy at USC to a freaking, Skrimsky. I mean, weights, training, development, personal trainers. Now, it helps to enhance the muscle. Kurt, I can guarantee you your bicep was probably out of college or high school about 14 or 15 inches. I'm guessing. Now they might be 22 or 16 or 18. But you did something. You did push-ups. You did more training. You got bigger and stronger. You may not have gotten faster, but you were fast. High school, middle school, and whatever it was going to be was going to be. So your body enhances with conditioning and training. Some of us are trainaholics. You know, there's some guys just like having 16 and 22-inch arms. They might hit more home runs. They may not. It's in the wrist. Hank Aaron went fishing. Ted Williams went fishing, made his wrist strong. You know,
Well, if you remember back in the day, and let's see. I'm going to go back to the 60s now because I was around the game then. As a bat boy down at Miami Stadium in Miami, I lived 4 blocks from there. I used to be bat boy for the visiting teams that came in against the Orioles.
Oh, wow.
The weight room consisted of a barbell. And when I say a barbell, that's exactly what I'm talking about. A barbell. That was it.
And tell them now, Kurt. Tell them now what a clubhouse looks like. I know all of them.
Oh, my God. It's unbelievable. It looks like a 24-hour fitness facility. Yeah.
With Jack LaLanne as the instructor. Okay.
Yeah. And they've got they have personal trainers that their job is to train the players on a daily basis. They're there all the time. These guys have a cook in the clubhouse.
Ralph, can you imagine having a chef? Okay, this steak and this asparagus, which you probably don't like steak, we'll go to fish and turkey. This is going to make you get 2 hits today. Psychologically, some guys had gurus or sports psychologists going, okay, leave J-Lo alone. You're going to be okay. Don't hit it tonight. Hit it tomorrow. Take 2 days off. I mean, they're trying to make them motivated confidence for the day. It's so many things going on in the clubhouse now outside of just hitting home runs and hitting, you got to be mentally ready for 40,000 people telling you suck.
Tell me about the coaching. Tell me about coaching in the major leagues. How do the coaches at this point, with the money, with everything, are they really influential, or is most of the coaching you're going to get in the early minor leagues? And
we were just talking about Tommy Davis, Kirk and I, before we went on air, because he was a piece of work. He was like Don Rickles, and he could hit 300 out of his bed. And he was a great coach and a good player. He got a track record. Some of the coaches got no track record. They may not know how to hit a curve or a spitter.
Right.
I think the difference between coaching now and coaching before is practically nothing. What they've done is they've taken managing out of the hands of the manager. So it's now run by the front office. But as far as the coaches are concerned, I think they still affect a certain number of players on the team with their personality, with their pats on the back, with just being Tommy Davis when you walk into the clubhouse. And looking forward, my guy was Ozzie Virgil.
Mm-hmm. That Ozzie too. He's a great guy.
He's the same kind of guy as Tommy Davis. Great guy. Couldn't wait to get to the ballpark to see him. But the Dick Williams of the world, the Billy Martins of the world, I don't think that they could manage in this day and age, because they're not going to listen. They're not going to
put up with it.
Exactly. They're not going to put up with it.
And so the owners stay in the box, make your money, I'll make you rich, I'll win on the field, leave us alone, I got the lineup. Don't call the clubhouse phone, please. Not while I'm managing coaching. Today's guys will pick up the phone practically like it's a text from the wife every day. It's amazing. You ever watch how many calls they get now? I see the dugout. They got, well, it's the general manager. He says that you need to put in Bevacqua. No, let's go with Gossage. It's just everybody's got an angle. They got another.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. Can you imagine getting pitch hit? Kurt said, the guy Bumgarner. Okay, Kurt's hitting. Okay, Bumgarner get loose. He's gonna hit.
Right.
He's gonna pitch it for Bond.
Kurt, can I take you back to your minor league days a little bit? You came up with Cleveland initially. I want to ask you about the announcer for the Oakland A's for the last 30 years, Ray Fosse, who started in Cleveland. Were you on the team when Rose smacked into his shoulder?
No, that was the 1970 All-Star game.
Yeah.
Okay. You came up in 70.
But I was on the I was there. I got called up in June of 71. I was just having a conversation with some folks that are contributing to a podcast that I'm getting ready to start here pretty soon last night on the phone, and there seemed to be a discrepancy in Baseball Reference as far as who I got my first major league hit off of. They had in Baseball Reference that I got it off of Bill Lee, and that actually wasn't true. So when I was called up to the big leagues, the Cleveland Indians were playing in Boston. So my first major league game was at Fenway Park, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I had all my earthly belongings in a couple of military type sacks, and I had my baseball bag, and that was it. I walked into Fenway Park with those two things over my shoulder and carrying my baseball bag, and I was ready to go. I was a happy camper.
I can imagine.
And it was fun stuff. And Ray Fosse was there.
Yeah.
Ray Fosse was there, and you know what? I don't ever remember him complaining. I remember him putting ice on his throwing shoulder, but I don't know if that was because of the collision that he had at home with Rose, because if you remember, that was more of a head-on type of collision to the left side of the body collision, and naturally Ray threw right-handed because he was a catcher, and I just remember him applying ice to his arm on his throwing shoulder, not on the other one.
Okay.
But he was a heck of a player.
The way I got it from my Arizona State alums, Ralph, is they had a lot of fisticuffs on the A's that year, and that included North and Reggie and Randle and
right.
Rudy and they were my Arizona State teammates. And I would go, okay, guys, what's the skinny on Ray? Should I run on him? Yeah. I know he tackled somebody in the club. I was breaking up a fight, hurt his shoulder. They fought a lot that year. I don't know if you remember Kurt. Remember they used to fight so much? Who left the most pass tickets for the girlfriend or who did? I mean, just crazy stuff that had nothing to do with the game. And I remember those stories. I'm going, because I got inside scoop, and I'm going, dang, Ray, don't you feel bad? Because Dave Duncan's going to take your job, man. Dave Duncan.
You had to kneel out.
I'm going, Dave can't pick me off like you could. I'm going.
Yeah.
Don't run over me, Lenny. Don't run. It was a wonderful period, an era when guys used to duke it in the clubhouse. I mean, get your macho out, and then let's take it on the field and beat the other team. It was a different.
It was a crazy time.
Tornado. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well,
the stories are endless.
This game, I'm looking at the 71 roster, Ray, and I just came across a name that amazes me that he was still around and with Cleveland. I didn't even know. Camilio.
He went to Cleveland. Oh my God. Go ahead. You want me to start or you, Kurt? Remember, Pascal was a character. He was a comedian.
I tell you what, he had one hell of a curveball too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I do not remember Camillo being on the Cleveland Indians that year.
Oh, yeah.
I really don't. I mean,
I remember him in Puerto Rico, winter ball, and I remember him throwing illegal pitches and blade at it because he wanted to extend his career. He was really maybe 40, saying he was 35. But he was phenomenal. He was like Tion. I think he's originally from Cuba. Originally from Cuba.
Right, yes, he was. He came in that Washington Senator-Cuban connection in the 50s and in very early 60s.
I was a senator. I remember him and Kurt Flood and Denny McClain and Ted Williams talking about Camillo, and they wanted to send him to Minnesota. And he's going, no, they don't speak Latin. They speak worse Latin in D.C. than they do in Minnesota. I don't want to go. And Casanova was like his interpreter. It was amazing.
Lenny, you know what? That was our first contact.
In Senators?
Didn't you play for the Senators in 71?
Exactly. Ted Williams brought me up.
Ted Williams was the manager.
Exactly. That was my Bobo, man. He went to see me in Arizona State, Kurt, and he brought me to D.C. It was phenomenal. Here's a guy that, I'm sorry, go ahead. But
I was just going to say, Peter Golenbach wanted me to have you recap that story of Ted taking you guys out fishing and being able to teach you hitting with fishing. Techniques, getting your hands stronger, laying off pitches. Can you give me a little bit about that? This is just for Peter Golenbach, so he can listen.
Okay, you remember he did the same thing with Tony Gwynn later on as well. He had a thing about patience, and Kurt, I don't know if you ever met him, but patience. When you throw your rod out, you throw it out. You don't throw it out, you get the first bite. You have to be patient. So a curveball you might want to take the first curveball. If it's a fastball you don't like it, you might want to take the first fastball. You want to check the fish out. The fish is, but you got the greatest bait in the world. You know you're going to catch something. And just like hitting, you only need one pitch. You only need one freaking pitch to hit. You don't want that curve. Sit on the fastball. You don't want the fastball. Sit on the curve. You can control the pitcher. I'm going, yes, Ted. Yes, okay, now throw that rod out there. What's this? My arms, I got a freaking marlin. My arm's about to break. I'm going, am I supposed to will it in or is it the mate? It's like I said, no, you just hold on to that son of a bitch until he wants to just come and have you for dinner. I go, oh shit, he's about to have me for dinner. I'm going to go over the boat. No, just relax, just like a pitcher. You just set him up. Yes, set him up. Then when you get that inside ball, chuck that son of a bitch down the right center, and all down the right field foul line. And my arms are about to break. Going, okay, I got your point. Now, can I bring him in? Because I had to start reeling. I wanted to reel the sucker in. And he's going, no, sit on that freaking fastball. Sit on the fastball. I used to be able to take a fastball to any field that I wanted to, right center field, left center field. Never let them know that you can spray hit anywhere you want. They thought I was a pull hitter. I'm the freaking guy that beat that freaking shit. He didn't say freaking, folks. I'm on the air. That beat that shit. And I'm going, okay. Can I will it in now? Now, my arms are tight like top.
Freaking on the air with podcasting. You use the full word. That's the real advantage of no FCC on your ass. Kurt, I wish I'd have gotten you before whoever you're going to – I wish I'd have gotten you for the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network to do podcasting. I missed you by just –
Ralph, here's the deal. We just talked about bringing him in and being partners. So let me close the deal, and I'll fill you in, and he'll be part of our team, and we'll all be happy campers on Christmas.
Oh, wow. That would be so cool.
Okay.
Kurt, wow.
Yeah. Okay, Kurt, we're just talking on off air. And we're going to try to wrap this up with the
I thought your podcast, when you mentioned that, I thought it was with somebody else. It is with me.
Hey, just hold your horses, Ralph. Hold your horses. Wait for the fish, Ralph. Wait for the fish. There wins. Don't throw the rod out there. Just be patient. Get the second fish.
All right, well, then give Goalie, he doesn't like that, Mr. Golenbach, please give him some more of what Ted Williams taught you about hitting through fishing, about hand strength.
I'm going to call him today, or is he on there now? Is he on there now? Is he on there
now? Well, no, he's not. But
okay.
We're recording this. I'm going to send him this MP3 so he can learn about how Ted helped you.
I got a year of it, actually 2. So I'll go from college to pros. Guy's phenomenal. War hero. Pilot. Genius. Guy should have let him manage his own team. Thank God for Sears and Roebuck. Gave him all this equipment free.
Plus, it paid him as much money as he was making from baseball.
No. He paid more. Kurt, let me tell you this. He used to say, guys, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know I'm freaking here. I'm going to say freaking, guys, because I can't do that F word yet.
That's what I
don't know. I'm only here for the young guys. I'm here for the Joe Levitos and the Jeff Burrows and the Lennys and the Dave. Now, I want Speed and Jenniger. I want Speed. Elliot Mannix, get your ass over here. I want you to hear this shit. And I'm going, wow. We're in. How could you not be in with the greatest hitter of all time, giving you stories from war to life to women to coaching? How could you not listen? Good or bad?
Yeah, it was pretty impressive.
Tell me something that we outsiders, wouldn't know about Ted Williams.
Ted has some beautiful women, babe. Dude, Kurt, we're creating this league. They were all 11s. I was in Baltimore one time, and Brooks Robinson was buying everybody freaking lobster and steak, trying to get us distracted and beer. And I go, no, I'm hanging with Ted. Ted said it was a psychological advantage if they overfed you and overdrunk you. I go, well, Ted, how would you know that? Well, Lenny, he just happened to be walking down the street with one of the most, I'm talking better than Marilyn Monroe, better than Beyonce, better than, name somebody, guys, name somebody, Lady Gaga.
How about, let me come up with one. Linda Randle.
Better than that. She was 11. Come on. Better than that.
Hey, Lenny, are you going home?
No, even other women goes, no, she's better than me. That's what Ted was a superstar before America Got Talent. He found the talent before America had. The women he had around him were Vogue, Playboy, just guy was a babe magnet. So I'm walking down the street one day and I'm going, he's shopping. He's got her arm and she's got his arm and he's dressed to the nines and she's dressed to the nines and had a nice, cozy outfit on that you don't want to look, but you look, you don't want to look. And he goes, kid, don't let this out. This is between you and me. I'm going, Ted, I'm a high-end shopper. I'm from California. It's not the ego. It's just I just happen to have more money right now. He goes, don't tell anybody what you're saying here. Maryland, I'm just going to use Maryland Monroe. This is Letty. He's our starting second baseman tonight. I went, what? I was going to be in the lineup. I'm going, he's our starting second baseman tonight. I go, Skip, are you serious or what? Because now I'm sweating bullets. It's like noon. I'm going, okay. Thanks, Skip. He goes, well, I'll walk to the hotel with you. So we walked back to the hotel. And we're getting in the elevator. And the guy's thinking that she was me, she was him. I don't know if he was married. I don't know what the scenario was his over life. I don't have no idea about his social life, folks. That's what I don't know. We get on the elevator, and he goes, how you feeling, kid? I said, I lost 10 pounds. Thinking about being in the lineup because I'm sweating bullets. And now I'm with Marilyn Monroe here with you, and I'm just like, I'm really honored to be able to, 15, 20 minutes of walking and talking shop with you two.
This was Marilyn Monroe?
No, it wasn't Marilyn Monroe, but it was like a lookalike.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was a lookalike. I don't want to say it was the name Joe DiMaggio's girl. No, we don't start no new rumors.
No, this is a newer, more improved model.
Yeah, this is new and improved Baltimore style. Okay. Maybe she was from Boston. Okay, I don't know where she was from. I was just happy to be in the lineup.
So I don't have any stories like that.
I got some great.
You going to the big leagues? When
what?
Who told you were being called up to the big leagues? What was that like?
Oh my God! I had Del Wilbur as a manager and a fun. He was like.
I was going to ask. You've got your air on Lenny Randle.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I want to ask Kurt.
Del Wilbur was the manager. Wasn't he the manager of the Denver Bears?
Exactly. There you go. We played against you, Wichita. I remember it well. Go ahead.
Yeah, that might have been. That might have been our first pass crossing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going back. We're going back a few years. So, it was Bob. It was Bob Aspromani.
Yep.
Oh, from Brooklyn.
Bob Aspromani was the manager of the
Wichita Arrows. Wichita
Arrows.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember like it was yesterday. I remember your whole team. I remember you guys hated Joe Patton and you hated Joe Levito and you hated, Art Fowler, our pitching coach, because he was 48 years old throwing 95, brushing guys back, and he was fat, 230, actually 330 pounds. He was Billy Martin's Bobo, and we had a lot of fights.
That's right. Art Fowler. I remember Art Fowler. That was funny. You bring that
I remember
name up.
Jack Brohammer and your shortstop with the glasses from Stanford.
Jack Heidemann. Frank, you're talking about Frank Duffy.
Frank Duffy. Yep. And Heidemann at third. And I remember your lineup, Kurt, better than you.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good.
Hey, do you remember Vada Pinson played center field for that Cleveland Indian team?
Vada Pinson was not on the team. He wasn't on the team in '71, was he?
Yeah,
I think he was. I think he was.
He was. Yeah. Yeah, they sent him down. He didn't want to retire, and eventually him being a coach with the Mariners. And Frank Robinson was trying to help him get back in the ball because he was, having a tough time with it. And to this day, the guy had 2,500 or 3,000 hits. Should have been in the Hall. That's another overlooked guy.
Vada Pinson was a good player.
Yep.
But I don't. All right, I'm gonna have to delve back into the rosters of the teams that I played on because you brought up two names Camilo Pasquale, and now Veda Pinson, that, you know what, Veda's starting to come back. The specific time that I remember Veda Pinson having the same uniform on as me was the expansion year of the Seattle Mariners.
Yep.
When I was drafted by him, Veda Pinson was a coach.
Yep, he was my coach. Coach with Tommy Davis. He was a great guy, Ralph.
He was a good guy, and him and I also were together in Kansas City.
Yeah,
yep.
Veda Pinson was the fastest guy in baseball when I was a kid in the '60s. He was unbelievably fast.
Is there any one thing, you're not going to know this, Ralph, but Lenny would? Is there any one thing? Did you ever play with Veda?
Yeah.
Were you ever on the same team as Veda?
He was my first base coach with the Seattle Mariners, and that was phenomenal.
Okay, is there any one thing? Well, by that time, this might have changed a little bit, and I might be giving away the answer. But is there any one thing that you remember more than anything else about Veda Pinson?
His speed and Bobby Tolan's speed and Cesar Geronimo's speed. I remember them going down the line. It was like, whoa. I mean, this is way before Mickey Rivers. Yeah, speed.
Veda Pinson would sit in front of his locker every day, and Lenny's going to start laughing, and he's going to remember this as soon as I say it. He'd sit in front of his locker every day, and he'd spit shine his shoes.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, my God. He was
and
a
before...
Shoeaholic.
God, before the Adidas's of the world, I know the clubhouse guy wouldn't touch Veda Pinson's shoes. Forget about it.
Leave him alone. He paid the guy. Just leave him alone. I got this.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, he was.
Wow.
Before the Adidas, before the Adidases of the world, before the Nikes of the world, before the Pumas of the world, there were two shoes in Major League Baseball. One made by Rawlings and one made by Wilson. And they were kangaroo skin spikes.
Huh?
And we couldn't wait for the reps to come to spring training so we could get our new shoes for the year. Because there were guys that did it all kinds of different. The leather was phenomenally soft.
So soft. It was phenomenal. It was soft leather. It was amazing. And
but those were the shoes. That was the first days where I really saw Veda Pinson spit shining his shoes.
And these are street and baseball shoes, Ralph. These are street and baseball shoes. And his clothes are like Hollywood. You know, Sidney Poitier. He was like, you know, ambassador dressed, impeccable. I mean, impeccable. I'm going, dude, where you get your suits? That's my secret. Okay, fine.
My secret. Probably for some discount store in Cincinnati that he didn't tell anybody about.
Yeah,
right,
he was
guys.
phenomenal.
Hey, you work out of time, but next time we'll talk about Billy Martin. You both played for him, if I'm not mistaken. I know Lenny.
Let me say this real quick. If Kurt and I were managers or co-managers or on the same team together doing a club, it'll be a lot of Dick Williams in him and a lot of Billy Martin in me. And I don't know if they could. Kurt, you think they could handle that?
No, not nowadays.
And we would win. Listen, Ralph, we're going to do our own Hall of Fame, Kurt and I, because guys like us, like Tony Phillips, and played 4, 5, 6 positions. We know how to juggle a lineup to make people win. We had a knack for it. We just had a knack for it. There's no reason why some of the guys could be in the
well, that's, you know, you say you're it's in the Billy Martin tradition. It is, but it's also in the Casey Stengel tradition of juggling guys and platooning, and Billy learned it all from him. Not to take anything away from Billy Martin, certainly as a manager, but that being able to have a versatile infield that you can pinch hit for guys, you can move them around. In the 50s, the Yankees had not only Billy Martin, but guys like Andy Carey, and Jerry Lumpy coming up, and the aforementioned Jerry Coleman was a slick fielder with the Yankees. And as a matter of fact, Billy Martin, when Jerry Coleman went back into service for Korea, Billy Martin got his opportunity with the Yankees. And
that's a true
Billy
story.
Martin, we always talk, anybody who comes up big in the World Series like Billy Martin did, year after year after year, in every year they played against each other, Billy Martin outplayed Jackie Robinson in the World Series. And, he wasn't a Hall of Famer as a baseball player, but he damn sure needs to be one as a manager. That's something. And anybody who comes up big in big games, that's what it's about. It's not just statistics. It's when the statistics were accumulated, accrued. So we got a lot to talk about, guys. I'm delighted you're joining us, Mr. Bevacqua.
Sorry, we didn't play for stats, Ralph. We played to win.
Oh yeah, winning was what it was all about.
And today, if you take two and hit to right and get the guy over into scoring position, and that guy scores the winning run of the game, that don't mean diddly when you're negotiating for a contract next year, and that's not the way it should be.
Kurt and I will get him over and get him in. Wherever
and you know what?
Sacrifice, hit and run.
Let's think back to the last baseball game.
It's underappreciated in today's game, and it's very sad. It's like waiting for that.
Oh, it's not just underappreciated; it's not done. But if you think back to the last baseball game that we all saw, the 7th game of the 2017 World Series, the Houston Astros won the game in the first inning, doing exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. You don't have to
think about the process of that inning. Think about the process of that inning and what the Houston Astros did that the Los Angeles Dodgers didn't. The momentum shifted. The Houston Astros took the lead in the first inning 2-0, and they never looked back. And you knew from that inning on that they were going to win the baseball game.
Nice.
But really, think about it. George Springer leads off with a double. What did Alex Bregman do? He hit a ball to the right side of the infield. You know why he hit the ball to the right side of the infield? To get the runner from second to third.
Where he can score.
And what happened? Cody Bellinger made a throwing error.
Put pressure on the infield.
That's right. Put pressure on the infield. He got him way in the hole between first and second and had made the off-balance throw to a moving pitcher, which is hard to do in the first place. And the next thing you know, you got a run scored, and now Alex Bregman's on second. He steals third. What does Correa or Altuve do? He did the same exact thing that Bregman did. He hit a ground ball to Bellinger, and guess what? Bellinger had a play at home because he was playing in. Do you think Cody Bellinger was going to throw that ball to home? There was no chance. He wasn't going to make another throwing error.
In the same inning.
So he took
in the
same inning.
In the 9th game, in the 7th game, he ain't doing that. Right. So
they score 2, they go up 2-0, and what do the Dodgers do? It was huge, but you know what? There's very few people that even know what the hell happened because they didn't pay any attention to it. They're not used to seeing it, and they didn't appreciate it. But then you go to the Dodger half of the inning, and what happened? Chris Taylor led off the inning with a double, just like Springer did for Houston.
Right.
So with that double, 2 hits batsmen, the Dodgers did not score a run because you know why? They're swinging from their heels. They're looking out for themselves, and they weren't thinking about the team.
Exactly. Yeah. And another play.
Right, give me your takes before we get off the air. It's the whole year is complete. Altuve. Takes
phenomenal.
Is he a throwback to when I was a kid or what?
Yep. He's our era. He's a 70s, 80s guy.
Yeah.
Throwback.
He is a throwback.
And he has fun playing without shaming anybody. He just plays hard, period. You don't miss
he has a great time playing.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's got a smile on his face, and he's always out in front of the dugout to greet his teammates when they do well. He's worth as much as anybody in baseball, Trout included, as far as I'm concerned.
He's a good player.
Great
player. Fun to watch.
Fun to watch. Never a dull moment. And guys, you remember when you were 12 and you were in Little League and you played for sandwiches and Tootsie Rolls and Babe Ruths and a drink? He's doing it for popcorn, okay? He's having fun, man. We played like that. I mean, we played hard. And if you don't like the way we play hard, then don't play. Go home. But this is how we're going to do it. And all Venezuelans, they play like that. And Puerto Rico and Dominican, they play fun. They play like it's the last day on earth. They don't play like, oh, I'll get him tomorrow. I'm getting him now.
Hey, Lenny.
But the most important thing about all those countries is they're still playing.
The Yankee job is still open. Can you imagine Lenny Randle, and you could co-manage, you could be the bench coach, Kurt, or whatever. However you guys get the job, you could reverse that. Lenny could be the bench coach, and Kurt could get the job. Do you guys think about that? We talked about this a while back, you and I, Lenny. But you could make a difference. You guys could, as you say, don't bother us. Don't call during the game. Just let us win.
Humbly, Kurt, you and I could run a team with a couple of catchers, Stearns and Duffy, and you want to bring Ray in, fine, and it will work. And Bando, Sal or Chris, either one, because we played all the positions, and we know exactly what to do in a situation to maintain dignity in the game and win. You know, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. We knew small ball before small ball was called.
maintain dignity, and in the same breath he goes, if you ain't cheating, you're not trying to win.
Guys, look, I played with. I used to get a Vaseline KY jelly ball and wonder what the heck is on this thing before I throw it over to first to Hargrove, and I'm like, Mike, if it goes in the stands, go get it and tag the guy out. You don't know what you're going to get. So, and he said,
were you on that team with Gaylord?
Yeah, Texas Rangers. He won 20 games. Him and Fergie, 25 games. Fergie cheated too.
I was on the Cleveland. I was on Cleveland with Gaylord. San Diego with Gaylord.
Did you wipe it off before you threw it, or did you just threw it like whatever was on it?
Oh man, it was.
Oh my God!
You know, he literally got a shipment of KY jelly in spring training.
Yeah. Listen, I'm gonna tell you a story about Toby Harrah, and I'll call him one day. He's a short, I'm a third. You get a ball and one, Toby, grip it good. He goes, I'm trying, and went straight up in the bleachers. It went straight up in the, and then went E. Perry, not Toby Harrah. Because he goes, ran to the mound, he goes, the guy got a double. You know, what the hell? He goes, son, I can't tell you what I'm doing. I might get traded. I might have to use it against you. And he's going, but I saw you wipe. I had a fake wipe, son. If you can't watch my wipe, I go to my hat, I go to my back, I go to my chest, I go to my chest, I go to the side. Remember his routine, Kurt? How he did his...
Oh, my God. It was unbelievable what he went through. He would geek so many hitters into thinking he was going to throw a spitball, and he never did.
Well,
let me share this with you guys. This is funny.
Lou Burdett threw a spitter.
Lou Burdett.
He said it was effective even when he didn't throw it because they were looking for it.
But was it real spit or was it K-Rod? Yeah, mental. Listen, guys, he psyched out a whole Yankee team once before they did Texas Rangers. Billy Martin had him walk over. He walked over and he shook Lou Pinella's hand, Reggie Jackson, and Oscar. And he had on his hand a jar of Vaseline. And he goes, how you guys doing? How you guys doing? Jar of Vaseline. And they're going, you gotta be shitting me. He's cheating already. You get it? He goes, what's wrong, guys? They go, I ain't playing today. Lou Pinella, I'm not playing. Reggie goes, you're making a mockery out of me. This is a joke. I'm gonna report you. He goes, Reggie, I got it from you. How's you gonna prove that I had it or you had it? Look, you got a Jerry curl. You got a Jerry curl. I'm calling Jerry curl juice. Whatever you want to call it. First pitch of the game, guys. They didn't even want to go to the box. They had him checked. They made him undress. He undressed. First time I ever saw that in my life. Guy had to leave the field undressed. Have you ever seen it, Kurt?
It was amazing how he was never called out for that, because you knew where he had it. But the one thing about Gaylord, if you remember, and if you go back and watch old film, is he really sweated a lot.
He did, around the neck.
He was what we commonly refer to as a sweat hog. And some of the big reasons for the amount of sweat that he used to be able to produce, and he certainly didn't do this on purpose. He did this because his arm hurt. But Lenny, if you remember, Gaylord used to put orange analgesic balm on his arm the day he pitched. And oh my God, that stuff was so hot. Yep. It was scary hot. I mean, I put a little bit on my skin and it burned me for an hour. Yep. I don't know how he stood it. I mean, he used to just glob it onto his arm and then he'd put a long sleeve wool sweatshirt on.
Yep. He had peanut oil too now. I know about that one. And I don't know if you know about the peanut oil. He was a peanut farmer. He used to use that balm on his arm and wherever else he could use it to get somebody out. The guy was Houdini. He was amazing.
He really was.
He made a science out of pitching, because he had, 86, maybe 90, not even 90, 86, 88, 89. Off speed, it was trickery. It was trickery.
It was. The whole thing. Yeah, that's right. He was, Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Rob, when we see him, when I do games with him or come back, Texas or some of the teams I was with, he's got on 5 different logos on his shirt. San Francisco Giants, Texas Rangers, Cleveland Indians. He goes, pick a team, guys. I'm here. He's got every logo on his shirt. And I'm going, only Gaylord can pull this off. No one thinks like that guy. He's a genius.
Kurt, you play with a lot of teams. Which city would you live in if you didn't live where you're living now? Which city that you played in was most conducive to living?
I would say if I had to move today to a city that I played in, it would probably either be Arlington or Kansas City. Both of those towns, the people were great. I really loved it there. Had a great time playing. And we had some good teams. We had some good players.
I think with all these teams, I think of you contributing to all these teams. You were terrific in Kansas City. And you were the ultimate journeyman that people wanted to acquire. Everybody used to talk to, when I was a kid and Bobby Bonds was being traded, they say, he gets traded all the time. Well, guess what? He's traded because somebody wants him.
They love you, baby. Kurt was like super glue. He was super glue. He keeps the team together. He's a good peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You got to have some peanut butter in that sandwich. There's a lot of guys that are like Kurt. You
can keep the Comfortably Zoned radio network together. You can be all peanut butter. How about that?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Bevacqua peanut butter doesn't sound like a great introduction, but, it's off the top of my head, and what can I tell you? I'm also looking, Kurt, give me a number you wore when you came in, because you've worn 17, 25, 25, 2, 14. Numbers didn't really mean that much to you. What was your favorite number? And give me a number you wore when you came into Yankee Stadium to play. And what team was it on?
It was with Cleveland.
Okay.
And it was number 25.
Okay. So
my first year with Cleveland.
I'm going to make Lenny sick once again with this, but this is my only talent, Kurt, so bear with me. Now batting for the Indians, number 25, Kurt Bevacqua, number 25. Not bad?
I'll never forget, that was good. I'll never forget, I think all players look forward to hearing that announcement.
Yeah.
When when they went to the plate and hearing Shep announce their names, because he was such an iconic, he had such an iconic voice, and he was such a revered person.
You know,
in the
it's
world
funny.
of baseball.
I'd like to hear him say John Lowenstein's name. It was Lowenstein. Can't say it like you should say it in one breath. So got Lowen, and we'd be hanging like, okay, get it out. Is he choking? Is he choking? Is he Lowenstein?
All right, Kurt, who screwed up your name? Do you remember anybody really screwing up your name, announcing you?
Not really.
Jerry Coleman.
Are you talking about PA announcers?
Yeah, PA announcers.
I don't think the PA announcers were they were all very good, and I'll tell you why. Because if they saw a name that they hadn't seen before, they're going to go and check with people. Because they know that their reputation's on the line when they announce that name. I mean, that's what they're all about. So,
what's the origin of your name, Kurt? What's your background?
It is Italian.
Oh, okay.
Italian.
It is Italian.
Paisano.
Yes.
Paisano mio. That's why he's going to Italy, Ralph. He's got to see
man.
it through.
Oh yeah.
You're going to Sicily, baby.
Wait for you. Go
I
up
would
there with Lenny.
love to do that.
From what I understand, Lenny's treated like royalty. When he and the Pope walk down the street, people say it's the old joke, who's that guy with the Pope? Who's that guy with Lenny Randle? That's that
Exactly.
kind of thing.
Exactly.
International League Chief, Lenny Randle. Hey, thank you guys. Terrific show. Get together. If you want to rename it Kurt and Lenny, anything you want. If Kurt's ego is okay to keep it at Lenny Randle's Hot Corner, divide it up, do it anyway. We could call it Kurt Bevacqua's Hot Corner one week, Lenny Randle's the next week. We could do it any way you guys want. But
well, right now the name is set on Dugout Dirt with Dirty Kurt.
Dirty Kurt, and he can vouch for the dirty part.
Well, that name was, I tell you what, that name was given to me by two guys that if I saw them right now today, or if we called them up on the phone, they would say, Dirty, how you doing?
Oh, wow.
Right.
And that's Pete Rose and Johnny Bench.
Johnny Bench, yeah.
When I was a rookie with the Reds, I used to come into the locker room every single day, and my uniform was just destroyed.
Wow.
And it was from Alex Grammas doing that friggin' game that he used to do with us every day at the end of the day, where we had to catch 10 ground balls before it hit the outfield grass, and you were on shortstop, and he hit in between second and third. And if he wanted to get you, he'd get you. But most of the time, the last 4 or 5 ground balls were ones that you had to dive for and you could just barely get. So there were a few of us that had to do that every day. Darrell Cheney, Dave Concepcion, Tommy Helms was in that group with us, and we had to go through that drill every day with the infielders. All the starting guys, the superstars on the team, Sparky took care of them. They didn't have to do the drill. But the turds, we had to do it all the time.
God, this is fun for me, guys. I can't tell you. Terrific.
Ralph, it only gets better, folks. Just wait till we really get it. It may become a visual, like Mike and Mike. Watch it now. Oops.
There you go.
Did they just drop Mike and Mike? Kurt, Lenny, and Ralph. Watch it, folks. Coming soon.
We're destined for success. Let's put it that way.
Yes, there you go.
If we just keep doing it consistently, we will be successful, because that's what it's all about, is consistency in any walk of life. You can do it once, twice, that's cool, but you got to do it every day or every week or whatever it is. And you guys and I will do it. We'll make this thing work. Thank you again. We'll be back.
I appreciate it.
Once a week. You want to do it once a week?
Yep, we're calling you.
Okay. You call me when. And again, thank you. Welcome aboard, Kurt. Very proud to have you both with the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. I'm Ralph Tyko, the weak link of it all. Sad and happy to say at the same time, I might add. Might subtract, long division not out of the question.
Oh, God.
Babbling not out of the question, that's for damn sure. I'm thrilled. Great show, guys. See you next week. If you're listening out there and you enjoyed it, do us all three a favor. Accumulate some lightly used children's books, put them in boxes, and you could do this a whole neighborhood thing where everybody gets together, and take the books down to the Head Start program in whatever city you live in, and get kids reading and ready for school and not falling behind and succeeding. And that's the way to make the country great, through social programs and taking care of those who need it, not the way it's set up to make the country great by our leader-in-chief at this time. That's another story for another show, and probably totally another show. We will vow not to talk politics from here on out, and see you guys next week. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Adios, everybody.
Grazie. Ciao, ciao.
Talk to you soon, guys.
Oh, and shalom.
Bye.
Kurt, we got to...
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom. All right. Adios, guys.
Adios.
Shalom and